Now in tonight's Valley News Leader Extra, many remember the brutal murder of Hogan's Hero star Bob Crane in Scottsdale 25 years ago. Tonight, Crane's son speaks exclusively to ABC 15 about his father's murder, his life behind and in front of the cameras. And ABC 15's Rob Coble here now with the story. Rob?
Well, Jonathan, yesterday would have been Bob Crane's 75th birthday. Hogan's Heroes, well, it still lives on. Of course, Crane's legacy living on through videotapes and film. He may be gone, but he's not forgotten.
People from across the world are fascinated with the Scottsdale condo.
Just since we've had this on eBay is the first time that they've allowed any of the media ever inside.
Inside the condo, where 25 years ago, a Hollywood star was beaten to death.
There was a lot of blood.
A twisted tale of murder, betrayal, and sex. Parts of his life he's never shared with his fans. Hogan's Hero star Bob Crane seemed like he had it all. The devoted family man.
We were a close family.
But then, there was his darker side.
Don't drink or smoke, and 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
All right.
All this adding up to one of Scottsdale's most bizarre and fascinating murders.
I understand you, Hogan. Every time I do something decent, must I have an angle?
Yes.
This is how we knew him, as Colonel Hogan in Hogan's Heroes. But very few ever got to see him like this.
It was a great time. It was a neat time.
Rare and private moments with the Crane family inside Bob Crane's condo. This home video shows Crane with his son, 7-year-old Scott. The two are horsing around in Scottsdale. This video is 25 years old.
Yeah, it was a celebration, that Father's Day, and it was very exciting.
2 weeks after this tape was shot, Bob Crane was brutally murdered inside the same condo.
And I remember the day that it happened really clearly, actually.
This is the last time Scott would see his father alive. This happy time, this happy place, shattered. These pictures taken by police 14 days later show the crime scene. Crane savagely beaten to death with a camera tripod while sleeping in his bed.
I could see that she was crying on the phone and very upset.
Now a spitting image of his father, 32-year-old Scott Crane recalls the day his mother got the news.
It was shocking for me. I think I kind of closed down for a few years.
Closed down, but opened back up following in his father's footsteps. Bob Crane first cracked into show business with his voice. Now his son is doing the same. We caught up with him in his Seattle recording studio, where he, among other things, hosts a popular syndicated radio show.
I kind of wished that I had him as a mentor.
Crane may be gone, but his son has plenty of memories left of his father. Oddly enough, erotic pictures. His dad took and collected hundreds of pictures of naked women he had sex with. These pictures are posted on a webpage dedicated to Bob Crane's life and run by his own son.
They learn the true story at bobcrane.com. You know, there's a lot more there than just some erotic photos.
This home movie, taken at the Crane's family home on Christmas, shows Bob Crane opening a brand new video camera, the first of its kind back in the late 70s. Crane has a big smile. It will be this camera he will use to make his own porn movies, movies which his son Scott has put up on his webpage so anybody can watch his dad in action.
The outpouring of support was amazing. So many people and other celebrities' children contacted me saying, "Good for you, stand up."
A lifestyle that led to his murder.
There was a great deal of blood. There was pieces of subcutaneous tissue dislodged from his head, in his hair, on the pillow, on the wall.
For 2 decades, Scottsdale Police Captain Barry Vassal worked this case. He had a suspect.
John Carpenter was the guy who killed Bob Crane.
Not guilty of murder in the first degree.
But a jury didn't convict him.
That's a big grin.
John Carpenter was that suspect, a video salesman who befriended Crane and in turn gave him expensive video equipment.
He was a creep. He was a creepy guy.
Scott says Carpenter liked his dad because he was a celebrity. Crane and Carpenter would pick up women together, bring them back to Crane's condo, and videotape themselves having sex with different women.
The thing, in Hollywood, what my father was doing at the time was not odd. It was pretty normal. There were plenty of celebrities that he knew that were doing exactly what he was doing.
Investigators say Crane was beaten to death with a tripod. similar to the one he used to make his own pornos. 2 years after his acquittal, Carpenter died of a heart attack.
That's the answer. They won't get out until the war's over. So, it's simple. We'll end the war.
25 years later, Scott is being reminded of his dad's murder because the condo, where he had happy memories mixed with tragedy, was up for sale on eBay. Part of the sales pitch, 25 years ago, this is where Bob Crane was killed.
It would be a very creepy place for me to visit. I don't even like flying over it.
An exclusive look inside the condo, and not much has changed. Newer carpet and furniture. Other than that, it's the same. But for Scott, this place haunts his memories of his father. This is how he wants to remember his dad, a loving man who always took time for him and was always caught on tape and film smiling.
And the condo, it never sold on eBay. Apparently the $180,000 asking price, possibly too much. Meanwhile, we did talk to the real estate agent who was listing the property, and they said that this is now off the market. The people that live there will stay there. They've lived there for about 17 years now. Reporting live in the newsroom, Rob Coble, ABC 15 News, your Valley News leader.
Not only that woman, Liz, but Mike Tyson as well. Tyson saying he's very happy with today's decision. In an exclusive interview, he told us here at 3TV that now he wants to move on with his life and put his focus back on boxing and his upcoming fight in September.
Did you rape her, Mike?
I've done nothing to violate no one. I'm just, like I said before, happy that everything's been vindicated and my name is pretty much in the clear.
2 hours east of Los Angeles in the quiet little mountain town of Big Bear, California. Former heavyweight boxing champ Mike Tyson was training for an upcoming fight. Instead, he found himself entangled in an alleged sex scandal.
You know, it's frustrating, but I have to learn how to live in this world and not be accessible to the world and to the evilness of this world, which is difficult because I'm pretty much of a free-going, open spirit kind of guy.
In his only televised interview, Tyson talked about what the rape allegations and the emotional toll the investigation has taken on him.
Well, you know, I mean, I went through my phase of it, but I'm doing well now, and I'm focusing pretty much on my next fight.
She said that she thought it was nice to know a celebrity.
Georgia Mae Jones works at this Kmart side by side with her close friend and alleged victim. It's here, during their lunch break hour, the alleged victim shared intimate details of her romantic encounters with Tyson.
She said that he was a nice person. He had a soft voice, and she loved his fondling, his, you know, petting and everything.
The alleged attack happened here at Tyson's $4,200 a week posh rental home.
She described sort of like a romantic encounter on that couch. What'd she tell you?
Yeah, they were making love on the couch, she said.
It was back on July 16th that sources close to the investigation tell us that one of Tyson's employees was staying here in the house up in the loft area. It was that same Tyson employee that told investigators from his vantage point where he was sleeping that all he could hear that night was the sound of a TV set and laughing, giggling coming from the couch.
And I asked her, did he tear your clothes off? You know, did he pull them off? And she said no. So I couldn't figure out how she was calling that rape.
It was ultimately statements like these that raised questions about the alleged sexual allegations against Tyson and the victim's focus on money, that according to her best friend.
She said, well, if we go to court, so we'll all get some money. So I said, what do you mean by we'll all get some money? She said, you know, the lawyers, the judges, and...
She say herself?
And myself.
We decided that we simply could not prove the case beyond reasonable doubt. We worked very hard at it because of Mr. Tyson's reputation for violence and the fact that he has a prior rape conviction. But after reviewing everything very carefully, we simply could not meet the standard of proof, which is beyond reasonable doubt.
Doubts helped raised by a lengthy investigation spearheaded by Tyson's criminal defense team.
The compliments to the defense attorney, Darrell Soul of Phoenix. A lot of defense attorneys would not have been so forthcoming in sharing with us the investigation that he conducted independently, and we very much appreciated it and took his work into account.
I didn't want to see Mr. Tyson get in trouble because of lies. They say money is the root of all evil. That's what the good book says.
Well, this is just another experience that teaches me more and more about how to watch my steps and how to make sure that I protect myself with better quality of people.
Now, attorney Gloria Allred is representing the alleged victim. She had no comment today about what the San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office decided. Instead, she said she'll wait till Monday, 11:30 at her offices in Los Angeles when she holds a press conference.
But it's gonna take money, a whole lot of spending money.
The Sammy Sosa bat, we've sold 3 of them so far.
A fan peers into the display cases at the Bank One Ballpark Team Shop. If you have enough dough, you can bring home a piece of sports history. Even a Diamondback autographed team jersey, $1,339.
Yeah, I was tempted to buy it. It was pretty expensive, though. Well, usually it comes with something like a letter of authenticity or something like that.
Yes, all the products do come with a letter of authenticity like this one. But the Team Shop buys the signed balls from the San Francisco-based company Stardot Marketing.
Whenever the player actually signs the product, there are 2 witnesses, the agent who works for the player and the person the representative from Stardot who retrieves the autograph in the first place.
That's the deal the Team Shop agreed to make sure the signatures are the real thing. If you're going to pay $600 for an item, you want to know if it's real. We'll test it for you. A team signed ball, $19.99, by every one of the Diamondbacks. Are the signatures for real? To find out, we took the ball directly to players and asked them.
Somebody has sold them a ball that's certainly not authentic. As far as my signature goes, anyway. Something's getting ripped.
It's not the first fake I've seen.
I bought that out of the Team Shop. $639.
Out of which team shop?
Arizona Diamondbacks.
Really?
So far, 3 forgeries. But wait.
That's your signature? Yeah, that's mine.
DeLucci is surprised to find out most of his teammates' signatures are fake.
Where'd you get it at?
Team Shop.
Really?
$639.
Good Lord. My mom's a school teacher. If she saw my signature like that, she'd be disappointed.
How could this happen? We took the ball back to the Team Shop to find out.
We did it because they are supposedly a company that sells authentic merchandise with certificates of authenticity.
The Team Shop inked the deal back in January to offer their products at America West Arena, Bank One, and the Fiesta Mall. Stardot Marketing also sells to the San Francisco Giants, LA Dodgers, Golden State Warriors, Detroit Tigers and Pistons, Houston Astros, and the Baltimore Orioles. Under the agreement with local team shops, Stardot Marketing claimed we work directly with professional athletes, their respective agents, and/or their promoters. But that's not what happened this time. Stardot admits they purchased the ball from a third party, Mountain High Coins and Collectibles in Bend, Oregon. Stardot issued this statement: "We always prefer to obtain autographs directly from the athletes or to be present when items are signed. Sometimes it is just not possible to have a staff member present." In fact, the ball was also sold to Mountain High Collectibles by a third party. Mountain High sent us these pictures showing the players signing what is supposed to be the team ball we bought. But look closely. At this picture of Jay Bell, the inaugural season logo is on this ball. It's not on the one we bought.
But I don't usually make my B's loop there, and I don't usually mess up my L's like that.
Questionable at least.
It is questionable at least.
No longer an issue for the Team Shop now that they're sending everything back to Stardot Marketing and will no longer sell autographs.
We don't want, as I said before, the fans to think that we're trying to pull something. And frankly, we don't want to make money off of something that's not good and truthful.
Rob Coble, Fox 10 News.
Okay, well, let's start. There's so many twists and turns in this, but you know what I really liked, Kevin, was the very beginning of the movie. I quickly get into the characters. I know what these 4 guys are close. Was it like that on the set when you guys were working together?
Yeah, it was, and there was a real variance in age, as you could see, you know, but it was also a small outfit. It was 4 guys running cattle, and a young boy, you know, an older man, and myself, and it just, you know, you just see the flavor of being out there. And I think that's important to get a movie started, because then everything is at risk.
Well, you know, what's interesting, too, you talk about the flavor. You know, it starts off not a real romantic, you know, showing the cowboys and everything. You're down, you're dirty, you're trying to get the wagon out of there.
Your horses run away, you got to go find them, you got to trick them to get them back. You know, that's one of my favorite images, actually, where he gets his horse, you know, yeah, things move slow back then, but the movie doesn't move slow. It just, it takes its time, and then it starts to really become exciting.
The relationship between Charlie and the boss is great. It's almost like a Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yeah.
But developed a lot more.
It is developed. Well, you'd have to say, I wouldn't say it is developed more. That's up for other people to say. But it's unique because it's not them. It's Boss and Charlie. And one steps back and gives the other one a lot of room and a lot of respect. But you can see that he never loses his own identity. He waits for his moment in the film, and when his moment comes, he's pretty violent.
Absolutely, and that segues into something else. There's always this hint of a dark side to Charlie. Although you don't, I mean, I didn't really pick up on necessarily what it was. We know he's got a shaded past, a very dark side, especially in one of the scenes where he wants to kill the guy.
Right. Well, you know, he says, you know, I got no problem with killing, never have. And it's a little bit of a hint, and you wonder, where did that come from? You know, but I think the best movies are movies that open up. They don't immediately reveal themselves, you know. Relationships are kind of better that way. I think everything in life is better when it reveals itself, when you're just not laying everything out on the table.
Which is great, too, because you talk about that with Annette Bening playing Sue. I mean, Charlie maybe checks her out. He hasn't been married before. But then that develops, too. And all of a sudden, you've got, even for women who probably would complain, my girlfriend would complain, hey, it's a Western, forget it. No, there's that love story.
Terribly. It's a really important love story. I mean, I think Annette Bening speaks for a lot of women in this movie. You know, her dignity, her sense of wanting the right man in her life. And I think it's a supporting role for her, an incredible one, and I think that this movie has a real gentleness mixed with its real violence.
And I like the gentleness between you and Duvall. I mean, I think it's great. It's probably conversations a lot of us have had before where you start walking off without saying anything to Sue. And he stops you, go back. I mean, that's the neat kind of thing I think a lot of people can relate to.
They will. I think they'll relate to them going into the candy store. You know, and you're thinking, man, this is some real impending doom, and these guys want to get their sweet tooth satisfied. So there's a authentic charm to it.
Have you been able to at least now pick up teacups a little bit easier after that?
Yeah, well, that was something I made up, you know.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I just kind of was looking for something that was feminine, you know, and would make the three characters interact.
So you've got to do all this interacting. We haven't even talked about the directing side of it. How difficult is that to change hats and get back into character and stuff?
I don't know. It doesn't seem to be difficult for me. I mean, the job seems harder than it's ever seen before because I just, you know, I don't know if I'm getting older or what. It's just hard to do. But going back and forth, you know, I knew the character really well, and so I could slip back and forth. You know, I like it. I like making movies.
You see the finished product. You really get excited about this for release in August?
Well, I am excited about it for moviegoers. I think it taps into a genre that we think we all love, but we don't see enough of. And by the way, when we do see it, oftentimes they aren't very good. And I hope that this breaks the mold on that. I hope that this raises the bar, not only on the genre, but for a whole generation that, you know, thinks maybe they're slow or whatever, goes see this and goes, now I know what people like about Westerns.
So now we may see a flood of Westerns after this.
You may, but I've made mine. I've made my mark.
I think it's really neat, too. We haven't had a Western in years. Unforgiven, I mean, there's been talk of comparison and everything, but I don't think, and I like that movie, it's so different from the Westerns that people have seen in the last decade.
Yes.
And that's
yeah, well, I think that's when cinema can be great, is when something's different. And, you know, it's really up to people to support it. And, you know, I hope people go. I don't feel like it's an R, even though it's been given that. I feel like it's a movie that you might as well, as a parent, go see it first. But I think there's a lot of men and women who will say, no, I want my son or daughter to see what friendship is all about, what a code of honor is all about.
Did you finally get a lot of creative say at the end of this one? You could keep a lot of the stuff you wanted in.
I kept everything I wanted.
Wow. I mean, that's been different in the past. That's got to be a great feeling. Now you've got the problem.
Well, I was directing, and so I kept what I always felt was important. A lot of movies, I feel like we probably lost some things that were important. I don't know why, but they do. But that's just what that is. This movie has my voice, it has my kind of love of the Western in it, and it's wrapped up in entertainment for people who like to go sit in the dark and watch.
Cinematography, incredible filming in Canada, wasn't it?
It was. It was nice. We had to go up there. I would prefer to shoot in the United States, but it was a smaller budget movie trying to look big because it needed to. And thank God for Canada because it allowed us to do that. It stretched our dollar.
I mean, obviously the excitement when it releases, you're going to be anxious to get the feedback.
Well, you know, that feedback is already nice, but I've already satisfied myself. I like the movie, so I cannot not like the movie because it doesn't make a lot of money or something like that. I don't know that it will make a lot of money. I think it's really entertaining. I think it's really important, and I think it could easily and deserves to be seen by as many people as seen these other movies. But will it? I don't know. I can't predict that. So if it doesn't, I cannot let box office diminish what I think about, one, the movie, and two, the time I put into it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Again, that was a great movie and really enjoyed it and loved it for the love of the game as well.
Thank you.
So I've got a tough job here trying to explain to people out west what a Buckeye is. Can you help me out at all?
Well, a Buckeye is a nut from a Buckeye tree. It's a real hard nut, and it's a tough nut, and you know, that's what we hope to be.
We don't even know what a Buckeye is. Can you explain that to us?
I don't even know what a Buckeye is.
Wait, you're a Buckeye. You don't know what a Buckeye is?
I know Brutus. That's about it.
Come on, Maurice. You know what a Buckeye is, don't you?
The little Buckeyes. I guess it's a nut of Buckeye. It's a Buckeye.
So you're telling me the team of the nuts?
I guess. You can tell you what a Buckeye is.